So what if I told you that the biggest thing holding you back from everything you want is actually you? Yeah, not the economy, not your boss, not some outside force. It's something you're doing, probably without even realizing it. Let's dive into why you might be, well, repelling the very things you're trying to attract.
I mean, have you ever felt like you're some kind of magnet, but for all the wrong stuff? You know the deal. You're trying to attract more abundance, but somehow you just get more bills. You want an amazing relationship, but you end up in, let's just say, complicated situations. It's kind of like you're trying to manifest that perfect parking spot right up front, but instead you get a parking ticket. So what on earth is going on here?
Okay, so here's the good news, and maybe the bad news, depending on how you look at it. This isn't random, it's not just bad luck, and no, it's not because Mercury is in retrograde. There's actually a predictable law at play. Now, most people have heard of the law of attraction, but what they don't talk about is its evil twin, the law of repulsion.
So what is the law of repulsion? It's really simple. It's the law of attraction working completely against you. It's the exact same law. See, it's not your words. It's not that vision board you made that sends out the signal to the universe. It's your dominant feeling. It's your emotional state. Think about it. If you're saying, I want more money, but deep down you feel broke, you feel that stress and desperation, that's the signal you're actually broadcasting. And the universe? It's like a perfect mirror. It just reflects back more experiences that match that feeling of lack. Okay, so if that's the problem, how do we fix this faulty signal? Well, the issue usually comes down to the blueprint we're all trying to use to make changes in our lives. And to really get this, we're going to look at a framework from Tony Robbins that explains exactly why so many of us get stuck. All right, here's how most of us approach things, and it's completely backwards. We start with strategy. That's our first stop. We're all about the plan, right? What's the system? What's the 5-step process to make more money? How do I lose the weight? We just jump right into the how-to. And this focus on the how first, Tony Robbins has a great name for it. He calls it the tyranny of how. And honestly, it's the main reason we fail. Think about it. You can have the most perfect, brilliant plan in the world, but it's completely useless if you're in a low-energy, defeated state of mind. You're just not going to follow through. You'll procrastinate, you'll self-sabotage, and the plan just gathers dust. But the breakthrough blueprint, well, it flips this whole thing on its head. The correct order starts with your state. That's step 1. Your emotional and physical energy. This is the foundation for everything. Once you're in a powerful state, then you can work on your story. You know, the narrative you're telling yourself. And only after you've got the right state and the right story does the strategy even matter. That's when it actually works.
So what is this story? It's basically your beliefs. And for so many of us, our stories are just packed with limitations, right? Things like, oh, money is hard to come by, or good things just don't happen to people like me. But Tony Robbins points out that if you dig down underneath all those surface-level stories, there's usually one core fear. I am not enough. And if that's a story you're telling yourself, even subconsciously, you're going to repel the very things you want, because deep down, you just don't believe you deserve them.
Now, this isn't just a Tony Robbins thing, not at all. This is a universal principle. You see it echoed across completely different fields, different times in history. In fact, let's bring in 2 more witnesses, a scientist and a spiritual master. They use totally different language, but you'll see they are pointing to the exact same truth.
First up, we've got Dr. Joe Dispenza, who comes at this from a neuroscience perspective. He says, your personality creates your personal reality. And what's your personality? It's just how you habitually think, act, and feel. So let's be real. If you're constantly thinking broke thoughts and feeling unworthy, then your personality is that of a broke, unworthy person. And your reality? It literally has no choice but to match that identity. This, by the way, is why just chanting affirmations in the mirror often doesn't work. Your conscious mind is saying one thing, but your body, which is conditioned to feel lack, is basically screaming, nope, I don't believe you.
Okay, now let's switch gears and look at this from a completely different angle, a spiritual one. In the Bible, there's a famous line where Jesus says, to believe that you have already received what you ask for. Did you catch that? The tense is key. It's not believe you will receive it, it's believe you have received it. It's about generating the feeling, the belief of having it right now, in this present moment, long before there's any proof in the outside world. This isn't just wishful thinking. It's the exact same mechanism we've been talking about.
Okay, so just look at this. It's incredible. You have Tony Robbins calling it your story. You have Dr. Joe Dispenza calling it your personality. And you have Jesus calling it your belief.
They are all, in their own unique ways, talking about the exact same thing, your internal state of being. It all boils down to this. You have to be it before you can see it. The law of repulsion kicks in when we do the opposite, when we wait for the outside world to change before we allow ourselves to feel good on the inside.
All right, we've spent a lot of time diagnosing the problem. We get it. But now for the important part. How do we actually fix it? How do we flip that magnet from repelling to attracting? Let's get into a simple, super practical 3-step reset you can do that kind of combines the wisdom from all 3 of these teachers.
First things first, you have to fix your state. I mean, every single morning, before you even think about touching your phone, you need to change your physiology. Get up, move your body, take some deep breaths, do something to signal to your nervous system that you are in charge. Okay, step 2, audit your story. I want you to actually write down those limiting beliefs that pop into your head, and then ask yourself one simple question. Is this story absolutely 100% true? You'll find most of them are just old, outdated programming. And finally, step 3, feel the future. Just for 5 minutes, your job is to generate the genuine emotion of already having what you want. Not just thinking about it, but feeling the gratitude, the joy, the relief. That is what changes the signal you're broadcasting.
Now, you might be thinking that last step, feeling the future, sounds a little out there, but there's a really powerful reason why it's so critical. There's a perfect metaphor from the world of neuroscience that explains it. It all comes down to a very simple idea. Where is your brain looking? I want you to imagine a race car driver. Their car hits a patch of oil and starts to skid out of control. Now, what does the amateur driver do? They panic, and they stare right at the wall they're about to hit. And guess what? Their hands follow their eyes, and they steer directly into the crash. But the professional driver? They do the exact opposite. They immediately force their eyes to look at the open road, the escape route, where they want to go. And like magic, their hands automatically steer them back on course. Now, this isn't just a cool story. Your brain has a built-in search engine that works the exact same way. It's called the Reticular Activating System, or RAS for short, and its only job is to show you more evidence of whatever you consistently focus on.
And here's the crucial point. Your life, just like that race car, steers directly toward your dominant point of focus. It's that simple. If you are consistently focused on lack, on all your problems, on the wall, well, that's where you're going to end up. But if you train your focus on opportunity, on solutions, on the open road, your brain will literally start finding the paths to get you there.
Okay, let's bring all this home. We've talked about why we get stuck, we've seen this same truth from 3 completely different perspectives, and we've got a practical way to start applying it. So what's the real bottom line here?
Look, if we put it all together, the reason you've been repelling what you want is probably down to these 3 things. 1, your state is low. You're operating from a feeling of lack. 2, your story is limiting. You're telling yourself you're not worthy or it's not possible. And 3, you're starting with strategy first, which is like trying to build a skyscraper on a foundation of sand. Just remember that breakthrough blueprint, state first, then story, then strategy.
So I'm just going to leave you with this one final question. Think about that race car driver. Right now, in this moment, where are your eyes? Are they locked on the wall? Are you staring at all the problems, all the fears, all the things that could go wrong? Or are your eyes fixed on the open road ahead, on the possibilities, on the gratitude, on the future that you are actively choosing to create? Because I promise you, where you look is exactly where you'll go.